Hey guys, CJ here. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can adjust your chain. You need to start with the bike on its centre stand or the paddock stand. To check the chain's slack, you want to go roughly in the centre of it. For me that's around here. Now my chain, I've already checked it, is very loose all the way around. I haven't got any tight spots, but you may want to check that you haven't got one spot that's tighter than another by spinning the back wheel and just sort of putting it up a couple of times. You might find there is one spot that's tighter. I think if anything that might be slightly tighter. I've gone around quite a few times already, but just spin the tyre, keep bouncing up and down and see which bit is the tightest. Now I've got a ruler so that I can measure the slack, because on the GSX650F you should have around 20 to 30 mil of slack up and a little bit down. So with my chain at 0 on the ruler, if we put it all the way up, you can see that it is actually coming in at close to 35 mil. So I want to bring that down to about 25, I think, so somewhere like that. So it's not a lot, but it'll be enough to make a difference. So we start by loosening the rear axle, and this needs a 27mm socket. Okay, so that should be loose enough now. Just as a side note, this sized wrench is probably a bit too short. You're going to want something a bit longer if you can, just to give a bit more of a lever. So if we look closely on mine, we can see that the little indent here is just a little bit past the bigger line here. So there's 3 small ones, 1 large one and 4 small ones. And at my bike I'm just between the large one and the small one, just after it. If we go around and check the other side, so again it looks like this is in the exact same position, it's just past the bigger line here. Now that the rear axle is loose enough, we move to the back of the bike and we get a 5mm socket. So if we do a half turn on this side, we do the exact same on the other side. I'm going to start with a half turn just to see where it pulls it back to on this mark here, and then I'll measure the amount of slack that I've got. And we do the exact same on the other side. So we can now see that the slack is much better. So if we're looking at just underneath the 1mm mark, and we're just going up to basically about the 3mm mark. It is worth checking the slack all the way along the bike. Keep spinning the wheel once you've tightened it. Measure it at a few different points just to check. I've got one loose point in there where it's still hitting that 30 mil of slack, which again that's still okay, but my tightest point is bringing it to 20 mil, which is the lowest amount they recommend. Now for tightening the rear axle nut, you are going to want to use a torque wrench, and you're going to need one set to 100 Newton meters or 72.5 foot-pounds. So we just want to keep tightening it until we get a real click from the torque wrench. So the last thing to do is to recheck the chain, mainly looking at the tight spots to make sure they're within the 20 to 30 mil of slack. So that all seems good.